And with you, there have been the rumors that question or talk about your sexual orientation. You must be aware of these rumors.
Of course.
Okay.
What was going through your mind when Barbara Walters asked you about your sexuality in that very famous interview?
Have you seen that video? It's horrible, to be honest. Yeah, I felt that she was knocking, like, punch after punch after punch.
Welcome to the Pride Channel, your home for queer news, LGBTQ plus history, pop culture, entertainment, and iconic conversations.
I'm gay.
If you grew up LGBTQ during the 1990s and 2000s, you lived through one of the most transformative periods in modern queer history. These were decades caught between two very different worlds. The 1990s were still heavily shaped by silence, fear, and misunderstanding, while the 2000s brought slow but meaningful progress through greater visibility, expanding legal rights, and the rise of the internet. Neither decade was easy for LGBTQ young people, but together they laid the foundation for the world many queer people experience today.
Has your family ever experienced any backlash because of the decision to come out and now to marry publicly?
Completely. Coming out in the South, your family has to come out also, and people kind of forget about that.
For many LGBTQ children and teenagers, the biggest challenge wasn't necessarily knowing they were different. It was not having the words to explain why. Conversations about sexual orientation and gender identity were almost non-existent in many homes and schools. Health classes rarely acknowledged LGBTQ people, and many young people grew up believing they were completely alone. Before social media and smartphones, finding information about being gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender often meant secretly borrowing library books, searching the internet when nobody else was home, or hoping to stumble across a television character who somehow reflected your own experience.
The God I serve doesn't care whether you're tall or short, or whether you were born black or Asian or gay. And so that's just a difference of belief. And I don't expect to change your belief today.
School could be one of the hardest places to navigate. Throughout both the 1990s and much of the 2000s, words like gay became some of the most common insults in playgrounds and classrooms. Something unpopular, strange, or uncool was casually described as gay.
Do you like this top? So gay.
Often without anyone questioning why. That constant background noise sent a clear message to many LGBTQ young people. Being different wasn't considered something to celebrate. Even students who hadn't yet figured out their identity often learned that standing out could make them a target. Many became experts at hiding pieces of themselves, carefully monitoring how they spoke, dressed, walked, or interacted with others in the hope of avoiding attention.
What are you looking at, fag? What? You can't take your eyes off. Yeah, as if, buddy.
Coming out during these decades was often a leap into the unknown. Some families embraced their children with love and support, while others struggled to understand or rejected them entirely. There were no guarantees. In many places, there were few openly LGBTQ adults to look up to, making it difficult to imagine what the future might hold. For countless people, staying in the closet felt like the safest option until they became financially independent or moved away from home. Representation in film and television slowly began to improve, but it remained limited throughout much of the 1990s and early 2000s. LGBTQ characters were often side characters, comic relief, or tragic figures whose stories ended in heartbreak. Gay men were frequently reduced to stereotypes. Lesbians were often portrayed through a lens designed for heterosexual audiences. Bisexual characters were misunderstood, and transgender representation was incredibly rare. Yet even imperfect representation mattered. Seeing someone who shared your identity, even briefly, could be life-changing.
Your sexuality has been a focus of tremendous attention in Great Britain.
Yeah, baby, we become the object of people's self-definition as well as the object of, sexual definition. I think people like to think they can spot a gay person.
You don't even know me that well. Why would you just assume that I was gay?
Shows like Will and Grace helped introduce many mainstream audiences to openly gay lead characters, while Queer as Folk presented LGBTQ lives with an honesty that television had rarely attempted before. Teen dramas gradually began exploring coming-out stories, same-sex relationships, and the realities of growing up queer, giving many young viewers their first glimpse of lives that resembled their own. The internet changed everything. During the late 1990s and especially throughout the 2000s, online communities became lifelines for LGBTQ young people. Long before TikTok, Instagram, or Discord, there were message boards, fan forums, LiveJournal, MySpace, early YouTube, and countless chat rooms where people could connect anonymously. For many, these spaces became the first places where they could ask questions, share their fears, celebrate milestones, and realize that there were thousands of people around the world experiencing the same emotions.
Communicating online is the hot thing right now, and the Microsoft Network is your on-ramp to the information superhighway.
So it's kind of like issue-specific party lines?
Is she naive or what?
Those online friendships often became chosen families. They offered reassurance to teenagers living in small towns or conservative communities where being openly LGBTQ still felt impossible. The internet allowed young people to see happy queer adults, successful careers, loving relationships, and futures they had previously believed were out of reach.
You know, freedom means freedom for everyone. And I think people ought to be free to enter into any kind of union they wish.
Politics also shaped the experience of growing up during these decades. Throughout the 1990s and 2000s, LGBTQ rights became increasingly visible in public debate. Discussions about military service, adoption, anti-discrimination protections, and marriage equality frequently dominated news headlines. For young LGBTQ people, these weren't abstract political arguments. They were conversations about whether society believed people like them deserved equal rights and recognition. While those debates could be exhausting, they also marked the beginning of enormous social change that would continue into the following decades.
50 or 100,000 gay members of the armed forces right now. That's the reality. They have functioned in the past. In many instances, they have functioned with valor, with great courage. Is it your suggestion that we throw everybody out of the military who is gay?
Music became another source of comfort and identity. Whether it was pop, alternative rock, punk, emo, or musical theater, many LGBTQ young people found communities that embraced individuality and self-expression. Towards the end of the 2000s, artists openly celebrated diversity and encouraged fans to embrace who they were, giving many queer teenagers a sense of hope that had often been missing earlier in the decade.
Oh, look at me, I'm drinking beer out of a bag. I'm so bad.
Listen to her, lady complainer.
Oh, that's cute. Is that a drag name? Oh, I want a drag name. Give me a drag name.
Despite the challenges, these years were also filled with moments of joy. Many people experienced their first crush, first relationship, first pride event, or first openly LGBTQ friendship during this time. Small victories, finding a supportive teacher, meeting another queer student, or discovering an online community, could completely change someone's outlook on life. Those moments reminded many LGBTQ young people that they weren't alone, even when it often felt that way. Looking back today, it's remarkable how much changed between the beginning of the 1990s and the end of the 2000s. Society didn't become fully accepting overnight, and many challenges remained, but visibility increased dramatically. More celebrities came out. More television shows included LGBTQ characters. More people spoke openly about equality. Conversations that once happened only in whispers slowly became part of everyday life.
It's obvious, I've asked this of others, but what are your thoughts? What is it like to hide something every day of your life?
It's tiring, Larry. It's so tiring.
Today's LGBTQ young people still face obstacles, and acceptance remains uneven across different countries and communities. But they also have access to books, films, television series, online creators, support groups, and role models that many people growing up in the 1990s and 2000s could only have dreamed of. That progress exists because previous generations chose to live openly, tell their stories, challenge discrimination, and create spaces where others could finally feel seen. Growing up LGBTQ in the 1990s and 2000s meant living through a period of extraordinary change. It meant experiencing the uncertainty of a world that often didn't understand you, while witnessing the first real signs that things could get better. It was a time of struggle, resilience, hope, and community. And for millions of LGBTQ people around the world, those decades weren't just part of history. They were the years that shaped who they became and helped pave the way for the generations that followed.
because I have, just before I came down here, I'm late today because I was in the makeup room arguing with somebody who was telling me how all gay people are going to hell, and now I'm going to hell with all the other gay people for doing the show. I take full responsibility.
If you grew up LGBTQ during the 1990s or 2000s, what memories stand out most? Was there a TV show, a song, an online community, or a person who made you feel seen for the first time? Share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear your experiences. And if you enjoyed this look back at queer history and culture, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more stories exploring the people, moments, and media that have shaped the LGBTQ community.
It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid, and I said, man, this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. Just saying. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Thanks for watching the Pride Channel. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments. Until next time, stay proud.